If you're not part of the solution, then you're part of the problem. I say this because I see that most of us Africans, Nigerians, and other African countries are really good at talking and complaining about the leaders, but we are shying away from our own responsibility. Let me tell you why. In Ireland, for example, the population of Ireland is just over 5 million people. In this country, this small country, there are around 34,331 non-profit organizations, NGOs, community organizations, groups, and well-meaning, people, community people that are actively participating in the development of their country in different ways. There are things like Farmers Association. There are NGOs that look after the environment. There are people who are in charge of people with mental health, who have organizations that look after issues of people with mental health issues, organizations that look after elderly people, any issue that is related to elderly people. There are organizations that look after roads, research, construction of roads, everything like that. And and there are also organizations that look after checking the government. Really, they are organizations, activist organizations that actually hold government to account. The people who look after immigration issues, so many. There's a lot of them. What people in these organizations do is that they come up with ideas, policies, they come up with initiatives and programs that they get funding from the government to actually physically construct all of those infrastructures in their local areas. These are the job of all of these NGOs and community organizations. They create activities that helps people socialize. They create activities that help people integrate. They create activities that makes life easy for the people in that local area. Things like public transport, things like policing, security, all of these important things, good water, good roads, all these basic things that we are always praying and asking God for as Africans. People are in charge, organizations are in charge of bringing these ideas, of making sure that they get the funding from the government, and also making sure that they physically employ people, or they themselves can even do it by their own hand to fix and to construct all of these facilities. There's one that I forget about. The men's shed in Ireland are elderly men, or not even elderly men, any man at all, that outside their own regular work, they come together and they call themselves the men's shed, and they go there, and what they do is that people can they can bring broken things. People can bring broken things to that place, and these men will fix them. They will renew them. They will recycle them. They will do work for elderly people, or people who who need help for things to be fixed in their house. They will do all this work for them. These are people who are doing these things without looking for anything for themselves out of. It's just their own way of contributing to their country. And there's endless of organizations and groups like that I can mention. But let's go to Nigeria, for example. Let's go to other African countries. Let's go to African countries and think and see what is happening there. In Nigeria, where the population is over 250 million people, we only have just 3,900 NGOs and community organizations. More than half of these are religious organizations. They are churches, or they are mosques, or they are just religious organizations. The rest of them are NGOs that are created by people who actually are in government, who are creating these organizations in order to use to get funding for themselves and for personal things. A lot of people there's been a lot of talk about doing electoral reform in Nigeria recently, and people are not aware that even that electoral processes that we're all complaining about, the INEC chairman and the president and all of that, there's an NGO that directly are supposed to be checking all these things. They are in charge of all of the organization of election processes. They are in charge of all of the polling units and everything, even employing those who are going to be taking those corpers that usually go to conduct election. These NGOs are in charge of these things. Do Nigerians actually know this thing? And do we ever check what this type of NGO are doing in Nigeria? No. I've attended one of their meetings, and I know for just attending that this is where the problem is really from the citizens. The citizens that are not aware of their own role in their own country. That's why we rely on only the government all the time, and we wait for them to do magic. Then we complain about it. And the reason I'm bringing this to the attention of us Africans is that until we understand our own role in the development of our country and our continent, things will never get better. Because people can come up like Ibrahim Traoré and the Sahel brothers states once in a while, but for our development to be sustainable, for us to actually sustain whatever development we get, we have to understand that the role of citizens, we have to understand how this thing works, that it is by citizens coming together and ensuring that they create things, bring innovative ideas, and come together to fix the little problems they have in their own local area, and also following the money and asking government to give funding for them to be able to do the work that is needed in their area, and for that mindset of individualistic mindset to stop, and for us to start thinking more of our country rather than us and ourselves and our family. That we understand that we love our country to the extent that we want to make sure that things are really working there. On that personal level and on that local level as well. In that way, the government will not be able to even loot money or be corrupt, because the people are actually checking these things. They are the ones bringing this innovative. They are the ones protecting their infrastructures, and they are the ones working hard to make sure that there's food, that there's good road, that there's good hospitals, that all of these things are happening. It is the NGOs, the community organizations, the well-meaning citizens that are making these things happen, not just the leaders. The leaders sign off this money. The leaders bring, create the laws, but they are not the ones who go into the communities to do all of this project and all of this initiative. But we, on the other hand, have left it all the time to the leaders or to God, or we always wait for a Messiah that will come and speak for us. So we need to start learning how to do all of these things by ourselves. We need to start learning how to do the work and not just the talk. So I'm going to be live, and we'll continue to discuss this as my aim is to continue to educate our people back home, to do my part as a person living in the diaspora who has had experience of how things can function by people participating in the affairs of their community. And I want to keep trying to share that experience with my people back home in Africa and in Nigeria. So I'm going to continue this discussion on my live this afternoon. Please join my live, and please leave your comment, and please share this video, and let's continue to educate ourselves. Thank you.